Within just the past 5 years, Algeria and Morocco have spent a combined total of over $70 billion on their militaries. Meanwhile, the border between the two countries has remained closed since 1994, and tensions over Western Sahara have never truly cooled. The question is, if war breaks out, who is more prepared? It begins with the heaviest machines on the battlefield. Armored Corps, MBT plus heavy ground. The answer starts on the ground. Algeria is one of the few countries outside Russia to heavily invest in BMPTs and deploy them at operational scale. The backbone of its armored force remains the T-90SA, designed for harsh environments and high-intensity warfare. Equipped with explosive reactive armor and a 125mm gun, it is a reliable platform in direct engagements. But the battlefield reality has changed. In recent conflicts, tanks are not destroyed by other tanks, but by anti-tank guided missiles, cheap drones, or soldiers hiding behind walls with an RPG. A machine built to fight tanks ends up facing pickup trucks mounted with machine guns. That is why the BMP T-72 exists. Known as the Terminator, the BMP T-72 is neither a tank nor an infantry fighting vehicle. It is a fire support platform designed to protect armored formations from infantry, anti-tank guided missiles, and hidden urban threats. Its autocannons, missiles, and observation systems make it a living shield for the tanks behind it. Alongside it is the BMP T-62. Based on the older T-62 chassis, this is a domestically upgraded variant that replaces the traditional turret with a new firepower platform. Instead of discarding obsolete systems, Algeria converts them into support vehicles, a pragmatic approach that maximizes available resources. Finally, there is the T-72M1. While not a modern system, it is maintained as a supplementary force. In war, quantity and deployment speed sometimes matter more than technology. This reflects a clear philosophy, not pursuing perfection, but pursuing adaptability. From main battle tanks to anti-infantry platforms, Algeria is building a force capable of surviving on a battlefield that is no longer as simple as it once was. Mobile Forces, IFV/APC/MRAP. In many battlefields, tanks no longer determine the outcome in every scenario. In places like the Sahel, what matters more is mobility. Who arrives first and who controls the terrain? That is when mobile platforms become decisive. The Fuchs 2 is a typical example. Designed in Germany and assembled domestically, this armored personnel carrier focuses on durability, transport capacity, and sustained operations. Not flashy, but in real warfare, stability often matters more than first impressions. In another direction, the NIMR follows a completely different philosophy. Developed in the United Arab Emirates, it is lighter, faster, and suited for desert environments. This platform is ideal for patrol, rapid response, and counterinsurgency missions. The Cornet EM tells a different story. Mounted on mobile chassis such as the Tiger M, it is not just a vehicle, but a mobile tank hunting system. In many situations, it can destroy a target before the enemy even realizes they have been locked. If tanks represent direct power, this system represents the kind of power you do not see until it is too late. The Max Pro MRAP appears in another role. Designed to withstand mines and improvised explosive devices, it is not meant to win major battles, but to ensure soldiers survive ambushes. The Humvee is the same, not new, not perfect, but flexible enough for multiple scenarios. And that is the key point. Many wars do not take the form of direct armored clashes. Often, they are pursuits across the desert, ambushes on narrow roads, where speed matters more than firepower. Algeria understands that, and they are building a force that can appear at the right place, at the right time. Artillery and strike power, possessing ballistic missiles is rare, but using them as a true deterrent is even rarer. The Iskander-E, developed in Russia, is a long-range precision strike system capable of hitting airfields, bases, and command centers from the opening minutes. In modern warfare, you do not need to control the skies if you can neutralize them from the ground. If conventional artillery inflicts damage, the TOS-1A creates fear. This thermobaric rocket system is designed to eliminate targets in enclosed spaces, fortifications, urban areas, and bunkers. The shockwave and extreme heat make it one of the most terrifying weapons on the battlefield. It does not just destroy, it wipes out everything inside. In many scenarios, absolute precision is not the deciding factor. The SR-5, a multiple-launch rocket system from China, is designed to saturate target areas with dense firepower. Within seconds, dozens of rockets can turn a position into an inaccessible zone. This is warfare in the form of, you do not need to see clearly, you just need enough volume. Before modern systems appeared, there was the BM-30 Smerch. With long range and diverse warheads, it was once one of the most powerful, multiple-launch rocket systems in the world. Today, it remains dangerous because of its ability to generate wide-area firepower that few systems can fully replace. If there is one rocket system used the most worldwide, it is the BM-21 Grad. Simple, cheap, and extremely effective. It is not accurate, but it does not need to be. When you fire enough rockets into the same area, precision becomes secondary. While many systems rely on volume, the PLZ-45 represents precision and modernization. This 155mm self-propelled howitzer developed by China provides long-range fire capability and rapid fire adjustment. In war, sometimes a single well-placed shot is worth more than an entire volley of rockets. Developed during the Soviet era, the 2S-1 is a system that has been fielded for a long time, but it remains for a simple reason: it works. Light, mobile, and easy to maintain, it is suited for battlefields where deployment speed matters more than technology. Larger and more powerful than the 2S-1, the 2S-3 provides heavier firepower for artillery units. Although it is a basic platform, it is still sufficient to maintain continuous pressure on the battlefield. In reality, older systems do not disappear, they shift into different roles. Close-range firepower remains essential. The SM-4, a 120mm self-propelled mortar system, is designed to provide direct infantry support. Fast, flexible, and capable of rapid deployment, it fills the gap between heavy artillery and close combat. AIR Defense Core System. Not many countries can say they control their own skies. Algeria is one of them. The S-400 Triumph is a long-range air defense system capable of detecting and destroying targets at distances of hundreds of kilometers. From fighter aircraft to cruise missiles, it is designed to stop everything before it gets close. Before the S-400, there was the S-300 PMU-2, and even today, it remains a critical part of the air defense network. Reliable, effective, and proven over decades, it creates a second layer of defense. Not flashy, but essential. Not relying solely on Russia, Algeria also operates the HQ-9B from China. This system adds depth to long-range air defense, while demonstrating an important point. Diversification is always a safer strategy than dependence on a single source. A newer generation, the S-350 Vityaz, is designed to counter more modern threats, especially low-flying and high-volume targets. In a drone or cruise missile attack, it is the layer that must work the hardest. The Buk M2 sits in the middle, not too far, not too close. It is designed for flexible interception, especially in dynamic combat environments. In many cases, the Buk M2 acts as a rapid response system when other layers have not yet been deployed. Smaller but extremely dangerous, the Tor M2 specializes in handling short-range targets such as drones, guided bombs, and missiles. It is the kind of system you do not notice until it shoots something down right above you. If there is one system that must operate continuously in modern warfare, it is the Panzer. Combining guns and missiles, it is designed to protect critical assets from all short-range threats. A country looks at NATO air power and decides it will not be that easy. AIR Force, Strike Plus Air Dominance. Modern warfare does not begin on the ground. It begins in the sky. Algeria is one of the few countries to possess a fifth-generation stealth fighter, the Su-57E. This is not just an aircraft, but a strategic statement. Developed in Russia, the Su-57E is designed to reduce radar signature, carry weapons in internal bays, and conduct deep penetration missions. In theory, it can reach targets before being detected. In reality, its greatest value lies in psychology. The opponent is never certain where it is. Initially, these Su-35 aircraft were produced for Egypt until political factors intervened. Algeria then acquired them. Technically, the Su-35 is a fourth-plus generation fighter with high maneuverability and a powerful radar, but the real story is not in the specifications. Sometimes acquiring weapons is a political decision. If there is a true backbone of the Algerian Air Force, it is the Su-30 a multi-role platform capable of both achieving air superiority and conducting ground strikes. Although it belongs to an earlier generation, it maintains reliability and flexibility. In war, the decisive factor is often combat readiness, rather than the level of modernization. The Su-34E represents deep strike capability. Designed to replace older platforms, it carries a heavy payload and can perform long-range strike missions. In many cases, it does not need to be fast. It needs to be precise and capable of carrying what is required. Before the newer platforms, there was the Su-24. Although aging, this system remains in service. The reason lies in practical effectiveness. In war, what works reliably is retained. Helicopters. The battlefield does not exist only at high altitude. In many environments, especially in Africa, helicopters are more important than jet aircraft. The Mi-28NE is an attack helicopter designed to hunt ground targets. Equipped with cannons, missiles, and night operation capability, it is suited for anti-armor missions and infantry support. It focuses on controlling and supporting ground targets from above. If there is an icon of helicopter warfare, it is the Mi-24. The Super Hind variant has been upgraded for modern warfare. It is both an attack helicopter and a troop transport, a design that seems contradictory but is highly practical. On the support side, the AW-139 serves in transport and rescue roles. Fast, flexible, and reliable, it is used in non-combat missions, but remains critical to sustaining overall operations. Larger and more powerful, the AW-101 is used for long-range missions. In many cases, it does not directly engage in combat, but ensures that combat forces can continue operating. UAV layer. If there is one thing that has changed warfare over the past decade, it is drones. The Winglong 2 is an attack unmanned aerial vehicle developed by China. Capable of carrying missiles and operating for extended durations, it allows strikes on targets without putting pilots at risk. Because clearly, sending humans into the battlefield is no longer the only option. The CH-3 and CH-4 series provide basic reconnaissance and strike capabilities. These platforms deliver intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance along with basic strike capacity, sufficient for deployment in various combat conditions. Unlike conventional UAVs, the WJ-700 is a jet-powered unmanned aerial vehicle. Faster, harder to intercept, and suited for high-speed strike missions, it marks a clear upgrade in both speed and operational capability. Algeria is not only importing, they have also begun producing domestic UAVs such as the El Jazer 54 and 55. Based on foreign designs but adapted for their own needs, this marks the beginning of a domestic ecosystem. The Amel is part of these domestic UAV projects. Not yet a breakthrough, but it shows a clear direction, reducing dependence on external sources. From Turkey, the Anka-S provides more advanced intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and strike capabilities. This platform has been tested in multiple real-world conflicts. Larger and with a heavier payload capacity, the Aksungur expands UAV operational capability. From reconnaissance to strike, it represents the next step in unmanned warfare. Naval power. Warfare does not take place only on land and in the sky. Few things are more dangerous than a submarine you cannot see. Algeria's Kilo-class submarines are capable of carrying cruise missiles and operating silently underwater. In a support role, they do not engage directly in combat, but ensure that forces can continue operating. On the surface, the Miko A-200 is one of the most modern platforms. Designed in Germany, it offers multi-role capability, from air defense to anti-ship warfare. The C-28A from China adds further capability to the fleet. Although not among the most powerful, this platform helps expand operational range and increase tactical depth. Next is Algeria's largest amphibious assault ship. The Khalat Beni Abbas allows deployment of troops and equipment beyond national territory, a shift from defense toward regional response capability. Finally, the CM-302, a supersonic anti-ship missile. Deployed along the coastline, it creates a strong deterrent against any naval force approaching. In areas with strategic choke points, this capability forces opponents to adjust their approach plans. Infantry and small arms. One of the most interesting aspects of Algerian infantry is not its strength, but its diversity. The Caracal F is the new standard sidearm produced under license from the United Arab Emirates. Compact, modern, and suitable for both security forces and the military. Its role lies in widespread deployment and accessibility. If there is one rifle that represents durability, it is the AK-103. Russian design is simple, reliable, and capable of operating in any condition. Not sophisticated, but rarely disappointing. On the other side, the G-36 reflects a Western philosophy, light, accurate, and modern. It represents an effort towards standardization, though reality is far more complex. The M1604 continues to add to that ecosystem, accurate, widely used, and familiar to many NATO forces. But when placed alongside the AK, things become interesting. And then there is the PM89, a domestically produced AK variant. The goal is to reduce dependence on external supply while maintaining domestic equipping capability. When all of these are combined, the force becomes diverse and more complex to operate. In many cases, the challenge lies not in the weapons, but in the ability to sustain and supply them. And that is the logistics problem. Anti-tank systems. If tanks are the symbol of power, then anti-tank guided missiles are the reminder that they are not invincible. The Cornet is one of the most widely used anti-tank systems, laser-guided, long-range, and capable of penetrating modern armor. Evidence from recent conflicts shows that it has proven that tanks can be destroyed from a safe distance. The localized version of the Cornet, known as the Bark, demonstrates a familiar approach. Not just purchasing, but achieving autonomy. It does not change the nature of the system, but it changes how Algeria controls it. On the more modern side, the HJ-12 from China follows a fire and forget philosophy. No need for continuous guidance, no need to keep the target in sight. You fire and move, and that is what has changed warfare. Tanks have not disappeared, but they are no longer the safest asset on the battlefield. Behind every system is a way of fighting, and this is only part of the picture. Subscribe to the channel if you want to continue exploring other arsenals, or leave a comment about the country you want to see next. See you again.